Hello, welcome back to Riderbook TV. Now, electric cars, we know they're everywhere, we know they are the future, and it's all well and good, myself and Jack telling you guys what they're like and how they fit into our lives. But I wanted to know, how would it fit into a racing driver's life? And it just so happens that Tom Ingram, have you been there all night?
I have. You were meant to turn up about an hour ago. And
Yeah,
I've been
sorry
here
about that.
all on my own.
We got caught up. Anyway, I want to see what Tom thinks of the new BMW iX3 and electric cars in general. So, there's the key.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's do it.
So Tom, welcome back to the channel. It's good to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Quite interesting, the last car you drove with us was a fire-breathing 720S, and now we've got you into
yeah, absolutely.
the opposite end of the spectrum.
The difference a few days makes.
I know, it's absolutely mad. So let's start then with, what's your experience with fully electric cars so far?
So it's something that is fairly new to me, if I'm honest. From a career of driving around in circles in fire-breathing machines, the concept of moving to a full EV has been something that I think for many people it's a change of perception that we have to do.
It's a mindset as well.
It's a total mindset, and there's no real reason to not, if I'm honest. So full EVs have been fairly new to me. I've been able to get out and drive the Ioniq 5, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is absolutely fabulous. Actually, I really like. But you know what? I really like them. I do really like the concept of going to full EV. I like the comfort of them. I like the quietness of them. I like the just the finish of them. They seem to have been. Probably everyone's going to go, no, you're absolutely wrong, Tom. But I seem to like the finish of them. And it's not just the Ioniq that I've driven. I've been in many others, you know, the Marque and bits and pieces. But the finish on everything seems to be nicer than we seem to be getting out of a lot of the ICE cars. Just the general finishing pieces and everything, they seem to be a nice cabin, especially when you jump into something that is a full bespoke EV
from the ground up
on its own platform. So I've been really impressed with them, and they're just a nice place to be. Their comfort, they're quiet. I just love the serenity of them.
We're sat now at traffic lights and there's nothing.
There's
absolutely no noise at all.
And I find that when you're driving them, the only way I can describe them is it's like being on a boat.
That's a good way.
You seem to just propel forwards. It's like being on a canal boat, fast and a very expensive canal boat, granted. But they're like being in a canal boat in the sense that you're moving. There's no drama. There's no chaos. There's no gears. There's no feeling it change gear, having to go, you know, feeling it going down the gears when you get to it. They just float and glide along, and that's one of the things I really do like about them. Is just that ease of driving them. They're a relaxing, easy place to be. And I think many people will look at them and go, oh, there's too many buttons, there's too many modes, there's too many things for me. I like the simplicity of being able to get into a car, press the start button and just drive. Well, that's exactly what we've done with this. There's no difference that we've had to do. We haven't had to have a secret handshake before we got in the car. We haven't had to say any magic words. We haven't had to do any dances. We've got in it, we've driven, and we're like I say, in our canal boat, just wafting along, chugging down the road. It's fabulous. And like I say, I'll be honest, I'm a total convert now. I love the concept of it. I love the comfort. I love the styling of them. I love everything about them that's really starting to come out. And for me, there is no excuse to not be in one. Granted, it's not an expectation. It's not people that are saying that you should be in one. It's not people that are going to judge you if you're not in one. It's a personal preference. I just like them.
They are very. I mean, they've come on so much in such a short space of time, which leads me quite well onto this exact car that we're in today. So this is the BMW iX3. So what this is in concept is an X3 internal combustion car with batteries, and that's it. So in terms of the manufacturing process and stuff, it's more or less built on the same production line as the normal X3. But we've just got batteries instead. Which is why it maintains a lot of the quality. It still feels to me anyway, obviously I'll get your opinion on how it drives in a minute, but it still feels like a BMW to me.
And you're absolutely right, it's a beautiful place to be. You know, we're looking at a massive display just under the camera here, so if you can see me looking, I'm looking at the screen, not you, alright. But fabulous screen, lovely internals, you know, everything is a nice, lovely, comfortable place to be. And the quality of it is exactly as you would say, it's up to standard, if not above BMW spec. You would know no different, and I think that's the beauty of it. And if you were to see the two cars next to each other, granted this doesn't have the grille, it's got the panel at the front and bits and pieces like that, but you wouldn't look at that and go, oh, EV driver over there. You would never look at it as an EV car. You would say it as it's a nicely styled mineral X3 in a way.
Yeah, which is something that BMW are doing now. They offer, obviously you've got the iX, which is bespoke, you can tell that's a fully electric car, and then you've got stuff like this and the i4, which are based on normal internal combustion engine cars that just happen to be EV as well. So BMW are covering off those two kind of electric car buyers, the ones that want to scream, I'm an adopter, this is an electric car, and I think tell me about it.
I think that's the thing that people have to be, that people have an opinion on as well. Some people like the fact to know that you're in a full EV. People like that. People like the fact that, you know, it goes back 20 years ago. There were still people that were using the Bluetooth headsets 25 years ago. There were the people that had the Bluetooth headsets, and there were the people that don't. Some people want to be, you know, like the technology, like everything involved in it. And that's me. I'll be honest. That's me. I like that. I like the technology. I love the styling of them. I probably like the styling of a lot of the EVs now because they look very futuristic and they look very different. And it's not something we've seen from car manufacturers over the last few years, because they've always had to maintain openings in the front of the car to allow air to come through. So to be able to have cars that now look very different, I think is really exciting. And when you go back to the cars that are being produced, exactly that, you can have your full bespoke EV, or you can have your full bespoke EV that is based on an ICE and internal combustion engine car, and I think that's the beauty of having having both of them. And certainly with something like this will appeal to the people who don't necessarily want to go, hey look, I'm driving a full EV.
100%.
I can be in an EV,
and I'll be open and honest. I'm that kind of person. Like I understand EV for me is, they are great cars, but it's quite good actually, because you're the opposite to me. You scream, this is an EV, whereas I like to be in something like this, much more understated, and you can't actually tell. If someone comes up to you and say, oh, what's that? You say, well, it's fully electric, and they go, oh,
really?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Whereas something like an iX or an i3 or even a Jaguar I-Pace, you look at those and you go, EV.
Yep, of course,
100%
absolutely right.
EV.
No, absolutely right. And like I say, I've been fully sold on them. I like the concept of them. I like driving them. I like the internals. I like the cabin and the cockpit on them. And this is no different to that. This is a beautiful place to be, based off of exactly like you say, what is an internal combustion based engine.
Exactly. So finally, the real question: you obviously do a lot of miles up and down the country, going to race tracks and stuff. How would an electric car fit into that?
So I probably do around 40,000 miles a year, maybe a few more.
That's a lot. Yeah,
it is a lot, and a lot of that would be commuting, you know, for if I'm working at race circuits and bits and pieces like that. But for most of those journeys, I can't think of any that would be more than the entire range of this vehicle. What's the range of this vehicle?
285 miles.
See, I mean, if you've got 285 miles, I mean, firstly, the concept of being able to do 285 miles, this is obviously assuming that you've got a charger at home.
Yes.
The concept of being able to do 285 miles every day, every morning, every time you get into the car, I like the idea of that, because you'll probably be like me, whereby you'll come back home 8 o'clock at night, your fuel lights come on the way back, but you think, I just want to get home. So I just want to get home and get some dinner.
You leave it till the next day.
I just want to get back and see my dog. And then you wake up the following morning, you've got to be up, you know, you've got to be on site, you've got to be wherever you are for 8 o'clock. It's an hour's journey. You think, oh, I've only got 15 miles of fuel left. It ends up just being a bit of a pain in the bum. So the concept of being able to do that 285 miles, like I say, it's only assuming you've got the charger at home, I really like. But equally, I don't think, and even if I did, I don't think I would ever do a journey that's more than, call it the entire range of this car, which is 285 miles. I would never do that in one hit anyway.
Yeah.
I would never drive, and I think probably the only one I would do more than that would be going up to Knock Hill, which is in Scotland, kind of just outside Edinburgh. So
300-ish probably.
It's going to be about that.
Yeah.
And you think from Coventry to Edinburgh, say, I wouldn't not.
You're never going to do that in one stint.
I wouldn't stop. I would not stop.
You inevitably need a wee or a coffee or something.
At some point, you're going to need to go to the loo.
Yeah.
You're going to need to get some Pringles, because obviously everyone has to have road snacks. At some point, you're going to have to stop on the way. So to be able to do that, and the convenience then is, of course, you still have a 20-minute respite. You just stop. Now, I think what we have to remember is that it does take a little bit of extra brain power.
It does.
I'd be wrong to try and say everyone can use, you know, an electric vehicle because it's easy, because there is a little bit more planning.
You've got, planning, I think, is the big buzzword.
The good part is a lot of the cars will do a lot of that planning for you, and there's enough apps, there's enough stuff on the
So exactly that. This car will tell you when. So it can basically give you a radius of where you are, and it'll plan the charging accordingly as well.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's the thing I think you need to remember, is that, like I say, I'm never going to do more than one of Mr. Magpie, 2 magpies on Solomon. I would never do more than that sort of 285 miles in one hit. And even if I were to do that, I would stop at some point on the motorway for 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so to get a coffee, to go to the loo. By which point you're going to come out and you'll have got a chunk of charge back in there.
Yeah. So this will do. So 10 minutes on a rapid charger in this car gets you 55 miles. So if you're at a service station for 20 minutes, let's be honest, you go to a service station, the average service station stop off is between 10 and 15 minutes, or 20 minutes surely. By the time you've gone to the toilet, you've gone to get a drink, you've gone and got some food, whatever. Then when you get back to the car, so if you stay for 20 minutes, you've then gained another 100 miles.
Exactly that. And of course, everyone. The trouble is, as humans, we'll always pick fault in anything that we can find. And everyone goes, "What if your charger doesn't work?" Well, that of course is an issue. I'm not saying that EVs are without their the concerns, because everything's without. What happened when your petrol station ran out of petrol?
Exactly.
There's always a situation. But if you look around, there's enough of them. There's enough of them on main routes, and I think what you have to remember is that the chargers en route are designed as a convenience. You don't rely on them, because you rely on your sole and your bulk of charging to be done at home or at work,
100%.
or when you get to your location, if it's a hotel, if it's at work, whatever it may be. You then charge your vehicle when you get there. So yeah, it's not without its planning. Of course it is, and it does just take a little bit of extra planning, but there's no reason why not. And for me, I'm moving over to an EV now. I'm going to be moving to EV. There's a bit of planning, but once I've got the charge, I've got a charger in at home. That will charge your vehicle in 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on how it is. But the other thing you've got to think about is, if you think of the life of your vehicle, if you have an hour's commute to and from work, well then for the other 22 hours of the day, your car is effectively sat sedentary doing nothing.
Exactly.
So probably the life of your vehicle could be sat charging. So there's no real reason for me not to. And like I say, I'm probably doing 45,000 miles a year, so that is quite a chunk. So to be able to do that with an EV, charging it from home, getting in this car 285 miles every morning, that for me is the convenience. 100%. That's the beauty of being able to do it, is being able to go straight out on my journey right away.
So the simple answer, it would fit into your life.
I think so. Yeah,
you just have to plan it and whatever.
Of course, it's like anything. If you were to say it's without its plans, then you're looking at it in the wrong way, because of course you have to have a bit of planning. Of course you have to look at it slightly different. But that's about adapting to what you want. And personally, I'm happy to take that, because I don't think it's enough of an inconvenience to
not do it,
to negate not doing it. Exactly 100%. That. Exactly.
No, I think I totally agree with you there, to be honest. But yeah, I mean that has answered the question. Will it fit into your lifestyle? And yes, it would fit into a racing driver's lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely right. And just because I'm a racing driver doesn't make it any difference.
Exactly.
I like the same things as you. I like a a good looking car that's nice to drive, that that ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
And for me, with you know, with the kind of things that I'm looking at, that's exactly what I'm after as well. So yeah, it takes a little bit of extra planning, and it takes a little bit of extra thought and brain power. There's no reason not to.
Exactly, and that's a nice way to wrap up this video. Thank you guys ever so much for watching this. Thank you, Tom, for coming along and giving us your opinion on EV. It's really cool to get a different opinion, someone that's in a completely different lifestyle to myself and Jack. Yeah, it's been a real insight. If you want any more information on the BMW iX3, we have done a full walk around and drive video of this car, so please use the link in the top of the screen to check that out if you want more of the stats, etc, etc, or contact one of the guys at Rybrook BMW, and they'll be more than happy to help. Any EVs, anything you need, use the links in the description to contact one of the guys at Rybrook. And myself and Tom will see you again very, very soon.